tell you now, I ain't no holy individual, but I am righteous. I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not gonna steal from you, I'm not gonna cheat you. I'm gonna tell you the truth, whether you like that or not. That's it.
Sh4mel, peace, my nigga, was good.
What's up, man? What up? What up?
All right. Yo, it's crazy because when I first, found out about you, I saw you on that vinyl villain joint.
Okay.
Yeah, that's when I found out about you. I didn't know you spit either. I didn't know you spit.
Yeah. Well,
So I
Yeah.
started going through YouTube, you know what I mean, looking
Yeah.
up all your stuff. I was like, oh, he spit too.
Yeah.
Like that. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you from Boston?
Yeah. I pretty much grew up out here for most of my life. I was born in Connecticut. I lived in New York for a little while, and then I came to Boston. I've been out here for years, but this is my home. This is what I claim.
Right. True indeed. So what came first, beat making or rhyming?
Beat making. I wanted to make beats because I honestly like being in the background and shit. I don't really like rapping. What got me into rapping was so that people could hear my beats. So like I started out like around 15, 16 years old making beats, and like other rappers would rap on my beats. I either didn't like the artist that was getting on my beats at the time, or I just always heard the way how I made the beat. I always rapped over it while I was making it, just so it could flow right for artists. But then I was like, you know what? I could do something different with it and get it out there more, or just get more people to like listen to what I do so I can attract better artists. So that's what got me into rapping.
Got you. So what equipment did you first start out with when you started making beats?
Fruity Loops.
Fruity Loops.
That's all I can afford. My friend, like back in the day, you know how it was. You would crack it. You go on the torrent sites and pray that you didn't get a virus.
Right.
And then that was it. You know what I mean? You would get you would get Fruity Loops, and that's how I started right there.
Word. So what are you using now?
Now, I don't know. I've been bouncing back and forth, like in between the 303 and the MPC 2500, and then the 2000 XL.
Yeah, the 2000. Yeah, I was on the 2000 XL for almost like 20 years, and just switched over to the MPC Studio.
Wow.
Yeah, better workflow. You know.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I got a live. I didn't use it yet, but it's just sitting there. But I got an MPC live too.
Right.
I didn't touch it yet. Yeah.
So do you keep up with all the newest technology as far as the gear that comes out?
Nah, I don't. Nothing is really appealing to me. I mean, it's dope. Like me and Ski Beats is like really good friends. I spent time at his house, and like he got like all the new shit. He had like, I remember him putting me on to MPC X. He had the touch. He had the live. You know what I'm saying? Like he always had like the new shit coming out. Now he's on something else. Like he's on some like he's using plugins, not plugins, but like modulators and shit. Like he's on some way different out of this world shit. Right. But that's how I got introduced to it. You know what I mean? But me, like right now, I want to get an ASR 10. That's my like next. That's my next move. Like I want an ASR.
Because I got the EPS, the one before that, the EPS Plus. I never used it. I've had it for years, just sitting around. You know what I mean? But do you think, in your opinion, do you think all this higher technology, equipment makes your beats better, or is it really the individual? It doesn't really matter.
It's the individual. At the end of the day, it comes down to how much time you put into it. You know what I mean? Like it's all about time. Like I just remember when I first started making beats, I spent like 20 hours a day making beats all day. I did not sleep. And that's how I got good with Fruity Loops. Now I'm a little bit older because I just got into hardware. I would say when my mid 20s, like 24, 25, I got into hardware, and I didn't really have as much time to sit with the machines. So I feel like I didn't fully master them yet, but you can master anything if you put time into it. You know what
Absolutely.
I mean? You can have new equipment and still be trash. I believe that.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
I definitely agree with that. So let me ask you: are you digging vinyl, or are you digging more so online?
Vinyl. I still go online here and there if I can't really, you know, like sometimes I can't get out, especially with what like being quarantine, not no more, but like when it was quarantine time, I had to go, you know, there was only very few limited places where I could dig. So I was online a lot more digging.
Right, right, right. Yeah, yeah. But now when it comes to like you digging for records, what do you look for when you digging for? Do you go by the cover? You turn. What do you go by?
You know, it's sometimes it's the cover. Sometimes I really see just a dope cover. I'll be like, oh, this is ill, and I'll just pick it up and just take it home. A lot of the times I just know certain genres have a certain sound that I'm looking for. Like if I want something, you know, just really weird. Like I like a lot of weird shit. I try to stay away from soul samples and stuff. But if it's weird, I usually go for like prog rock, or I'll go for some like electronic shit from the 70s, or like some psychedelic shit. You know what I mean? Like I'm always trying to look for just some obscure sounding weird shit. So I'll look in those sections, you know what I mean? Or I'll go and I'll look at like movies and stuff, like a lot of movie vinyls. You know what I mean? You find a lot of gems on there.
Right. So
Yeah.
are you more into chopping or looping, or a little of both?
I would consider myself more of a looper. Um, I can chop. I think I'm not as good at chopping. I don't think that's my strong area. I do it to get better at it, but I think I'm more of a loop person. I just hear, I feel like I don't want to mess with, you know, the sample's integrity. Like I just like how it sound right there. I like that little section, but I take different sections and I'll loop it and make it try to sound like one thing, or, you know, piece it together. But, you know, I wish I was an ill chopper. Like I hear people that take one sample and make it sound like a whole new song. You know what I mean? Like that's some real dope shit to me.
Yeah, it really is. It really is some dope shit. Because
Yeah.
I would fluctuate back and forth with my beats. Sometimes I'm looping, sometimes in my loop phase, sometimes in my sample phase, or what have you. You know. Now, when it comes to drums, are you sampling drums strictly on vinyl, or do you have vinyl packs? How do you do the drums?
I'm a purist. I really try to make my own drums. I'll find records that got open drums on it, and then I'll run it through, you know, my programs and shit. I'll beef it up. I really beef it up with the 303. I'll just use the EQ and the compression to make it sound fatter. Then I'll put it into Ableton and I'll tweak it some more, and then I'll run it back into the MPC, and I'll chop it up like that.
You know, it's funny because every time I see the MPC, not every time, but when I see the 303 must have a lot of effects in it or something, because I always see the MPC 2000 XL with some artists, and they also may have a 303 nearby. Why is that?
I think it depends on the producer. Like I'll speak for myself. So how I use it, I made a lot of beats on it. That's a machine. That's a real dope machine to make beats on. It's actually really challenging. Simple. It's a simple layout, but the way how your brain has to work to make a beat on it, very challenging. So I like it in that aspect. But at the same time, you get a certain type of feel out of it. It's a very warm machine. So you want to run drums through it. You want to run samples through it. That's how I feel when I do it. Sometimes I can't slow a sample down a certain way. The 303 will slow a sample down a certain way and still keep the same pitch, and it won't, I don't know, it gives it a certain sound and it gives it a certain vibe to it that no other machine can do. So that's why I like it. You know what I mean? That's how I use it. For other producers, I see I see they'll use it just for the sound, like the compression. The compression on it is like really, really dope. I think that's what a majority of producers use the 303 for, but there's only a handful of dudes that make beats on it. You know what I mean? And I to put that out to like everyone that's listening and they plan on getting a 303, or if they already have one, make beats on it. Make beats on it, because that's a beautiful machine to make beats on. Just alone, just sit down with your 303 and make a beat on it.
Yeah, Madlib uses that. He's using 303.
Yeah, yep. You could tell MF Doom uses it. Jay Dilla did donuts on it. That's what I heard. You got I think his name Nick the Wonder. He makes beats on it. Sam I Am. You know what I'm saying? He made a lot of like Earl Sweatshirt shit. He uses the 404 though. But still, you know what I mean? Like a lot of dope dudes. D.I.G.G.A.Z too.
Oh yeah, D.I.G.G.A.Z. Yeah.
That's what really got me into hardware. Because I lived in LA for a few years, and I went to a DJ House Shoes event. He had this thing up in I forget the city's name. It's off of Sunset, like over there in Hollywood.
Right.
And I went to the record store over there, and he would do this thing like every weekend, and I would watch them. I watched a lot of those dudes like Stro and shit like that make beats, drugs beats. They will all be there making beats and shit, and I was like, oh, they're using hardware. So it kind of took me off the Fruity Loops, and it made me want to get an MPC.
Right.
So that's what got me into it. Yep.
Yeah. That's what's up. So with the drums. Now back to the drums, right?
Right.
Are you chopping the drums, or are you looping up the samples?
A little bit of both. Like I said, like I'll if I like a snare from one song and then I like a kick on another song and a hi-hat, like, you know, I'll do it like that. It really depends. Sometimes the drums that it just how it's looped, I'll just loop it. You know what I mean? Make it easy. I'm all about keeping shit simple. I don't like to overcomplicate things. Especially when you're just trying to get it out. I just want to get it out.
Right.
And then once I get it out, I'll go back to it later and I might add touches or whatever. Or if I get the artist vocal, you know what I mean? I'll do a skeleton and get the vocal, then I might go back and like flip it around and shit. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. So when you start a beat, like your sequences, what is it? 2-bar loops, 4 bars, 8 bars? How do you start your beats? How many, the sequence?
I don't go over 4 bars. I won't do that. The reason why is because like when it comes to the sample, it gives you, for me, it helps me change it up every time instead of doing 8. I feel like 8 is too long, and like tracking out wise, it just doesn't work out for me. So I try to do my sequences in 2-bar loops or 4-bar loops. Yeah.
That's pretty dope. So what would you say, how many tracks would you say most of your beats are?
Maybe like 6 to 8. Not that many. I try not to overdo it.
Right.
I try to even keep it less than that. As long as my all I really got is like the kick, snare, hi-hat. I might have a bass on there. So that's kick, snare, hi-hat, that's 4, and then the sample, and then I might have like some effects, you know what I mean, here and there. It really depends on the type of beat though, but most of them is simple, very simple beats.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Simple but effective.
Yeah.
Right.
Of course. You know what I mean?
That. It doesn't drown out the MC. You leave room for the MC. The room.
Right.
He's like the last part of the beat.
Exactly. But then like I made trap beats. You know what I mean? Like my history, I made beats for a lot of different artists. So I made trap shit, and that might go out 16 to 20 tracks, you know what I mean? Right. So, and that's just a whole different like area. That's a whole different sound. That's a whole different feel. So, you know what I mean? Like that layout is different, but more so now with like just hip hop, I keep it very, very, very simple. I don't try to overdo it, you know.
So what do you prefer making, the trap or the boom bap? What do you feel?
It's so right now, how I'm feeling right now, I feel like boom bap is getting oversaturated. Um, it's dope that so many people are starting to do it, but then at the same time, like I've been doing it for so long that I'm not having as much fun with it. So then I'll walk away and like do some other shit. Like I've been doing more like I guess you would call it like smoker type music. Like it's soulful trap, you know what I mean? Like it got the sample element to it, but then it has those 808 drums, the snares, things like that. But I've been doing it on the MPC now. You know what I mean? Instead of being on Fruity Loops and stuff.
Right.
So it still got that original element, but you know, it's still new. You know what I mean? Like I'm still I'm still chopping records and shit, but I got the 808s on it and stuff like that. Cause it's a better feeling. I like the bounce and I like the nod to it and stuff like that. But then I still find myself going back. I'll go back to hip hop, you know, make the boom bap and shit.
Definitely. So you can answer this question if you want. If you don't want to answer, you don't have to, but let's talk about sample clearances. Are you at the level where you're clearing samples or are you just sliding past that?
Yeah, nah, I'm not clearing samples. I'm not at that level where I don't think anybody's gonna come after me. Now, let me not say that because I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. You know, I could blow up tomorrow, like really get out of here, blow up. You know what I'm saying? And like, I got some niggas knocking at my door, but nah, I don't clear it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fuck it.
So what's next?
I got a project. What do you mean? Like as far as
project wise, what's next?
Project wise? Yeah, so I'm working on a project right now. I'm gonna drop something probably within the next. It's still in the works. You know what I mean? To be honest, like I got a lot of music.
Right.
I don't know if I want to drop a project or if I want to go the single route. I'm still trying to just figure out if just dropping consistent singles, because the whole game like geographically has changed. Like I feel like when you drop projects, if you don't really got like a audience that's willing to digest it, it's not really worth putting out all that music when you could just put out singles and you know you're in the streaming world and you make that money like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So but yeah, I got a ton of music. I've been producing a lot more of the shit that I've been making. Cause I work with other producers too. But yeah, so I got projects coming. I'm gonna be see what else is going on. That's about it, man. Just doing that. I kind of chilled out right now too. My son was just born. You know what I mean? So I just been on my dad shit lately. And but yeah, I got a project coming.
Oh yeah, you'll definitely be on the lookout for that. So before we let you go, any advice to any up and coming producers who's trying to grow in the game and get in the game?
Advice, I would say don't have an ego. You know what I mean? Get over your ego. You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna have to give out a lot of free shit. You know what I mean? Especially if you're trying to get your name out. You might feel that you're nice or whatever, but you got to give out a lot of shit. I would say find an artist to work with. Like stick to an artist and develop that artist. Find artists that are not big. I mean, yeah, you want to get a big placement and shit, but it's all about finding an artist before they got big. That's how I got in, you know what I mean? That's how I got my big names, because I always worked with them before they got big. And you establish those relationships like that. So develop a sound with an artist, and that's going to take you further. You know what I'm saying?
Word. Well, listen, Sh4mel, man, I appreciate you, taking time out of your busy schedule to chop it up with me. This is strictly for my diggers. You know what I mean? This is a page that I'm starting, to celebrate all the beat makers, because we don't always get props. You know what I mean?
Word, man. I appreciate you for allowing me to come onto your show and interviewing me, man.
Absolutely. Yo, salute.
Thank you, man. You take care.
All right, peace.
All right.
I'm gonna tell you now, I ain't no holy individual, but I am righteous. I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not gonna steal from you, I'm not gonna cheat. I'm gonna tell you